All right. Good morning, everyone. I am Larry Keefe, and I'm the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Florida. It is my honor and privilege to introduce Florida's Attorney General, Ashleigh Moody. She is a fifth-generation Floridian. She was born and raised in Plant City, Florida. She is a triple Gator, having earned her bachelor's, master's, and law degrees from the University of Florida, and she earned a master's of law degree in international law from the Stetson University College of Law. She has previously served as both a federal prosecutor and as a state court trial judge. When she was elected to be a trial judge in Tampa at the age of 31, she became the youngest trial judge in the entire state of Florida. The people of Florida elected Ashleigh Moody as their Attorney General in November 2018, and she took office in January of 2019. But General Moody is so much more than her resume. I have come to know that she is a woman who is devoted to public service, to her family, and to her commitment to protecting Florida seniors from those who would prey upon them. General Moody and her family live and breathe public service. Her father is a judge, and her mother, Carol, is a lawyer who has devoted her entire legal career to protecting Florida's indigent senior citizens. General Moody's husband, Justin, is a career law enforcement officer. They have two sons, Connor, who is 10 years old, and Brandon, who is a soldier in the United States Army. And you should know that Brandon was deployed to Afghanistan just this past Friday, and please keep him and the Moody family in your prayers. Florida seniors have no better friend and protector than Attorney General Ashleigh Moody. I am honored to call her my friend and to be her law enforcement partner. Please join me in welcoming our Florida Attorney General, Ashleigh Moody.
Thank you. And don't think I know who just led that standing ovation there. If I might just take a moment of privilege and introduce you to one of my heroes. And it's not the son who just deployed, and it's not the husband who has been a cop and a federal law enforcement officer. It's my mama. And she is here with us today, and she is standing. If you'll stand up, Mama. So I don't know about you, if you have grandchildren or children, but when I was growing up, I heard many times, tell me if you've heard this, children should be seen and not heard. Yeah? I learned that very early on in life. And so I, as a daughter, as you can imagine, always wanting to do what was expected of me and achieve, I listened, and I was seen and not heard. And I watched a lot growing up. We talked a lot about justice and what it means to protect people who can't protect themselves. I listened to horrific instances when seniors were abused or their life savings stolen, or they were scammed into signing over their home without ever knowing they had signed it away. And so it is no surprise that when I decided to resign from the bench, which by the way was a very predictable, consistent career, I sat in one place all day long, and I'm not exaggerating that. Now I run all over the state and beg people to listen to me. But it should be no surprise that when I became the Attorney General, I had taken all of that listening and said, now it's time for me to be heard. I was a lawyer, a prosecutor, a judge, and now I was going to be heard about what was important. And it should be of no surprise to you, after meeting my mama, that protection of seniors was one of my main priorities in my campaign to become the Attorney General. And so, I didn't just campaign on it. When I became the Attorney General, I immediately launched our senior protection team. And I would like to introduce to you our statewide prosecutor, Nick Cox, who is with us today. Just stand up real quick. He said, I am so excited about this senior protection team because what happens in government, and this is natural and it's no one's fault, but we're all given a specific mission. And we all stay within our silos. Within our own office, the Attorney General's office, if you're said you're going to protect consumers, you protect consumers. If you're going to prosecute criminals, you go after criminals. If you're going to be protecting our funds and our taxpayer money and Medicaid fraud, you're going to do that. But then we don't talk a lot among our silos. And how effective is it when we bring everybody together and say, this may not be the most effective silo for this, how can we be better? And going after the bad guys that want to take advantage of people who move to Florida seeking sanctuary and a wonderful place to live out their years. And so we have been so successful. I'm so proud of our senior protection team. We've brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars that they would never have seen in return. And I'm thanking Nick Cox here publicly today for being so passionate about that and recruiting so many others to be passionate on our senior protection team. Let me tell you about a program that you can help us with. And it would involve you helping law enforcement. Isn't that a novel concept? Helping and supporting law enforcement. I long for the days when that was just a generally known standard. But we have a program called Seniors v. Crime. And it's people just like you that say, I want to help. I want to determine when someone has had a problem, help them trying to resolve that. And if they can't, take it to the Attorney General's office and work with their people to get refunds. Since this program has been created, our Seniors v. Crime program, and since people like you have volunteered, we've recovered millions of dollars. Just this year alone, we've covered over $1 million. I can't tell you how much it means, and I can tell you as a judge, the best way to fight crime and abuse is to have people in the community tell us when it's going on and help us resolve cases. So for those of you Seniors v. Crime volunteers today, thank you so much. And for all my future volunteers, I'm in advance thanking you. When I came on board, I did an assessment of what are our weaknesses, because if you're a leader in government, the way you are effective is if you're willing to say, we can be better in a particular area. I'm not afraid to look at our office and say, where can we be stronger? And so if you're coming into leadership, you need to do a full assessment. And I looked at where our seniors were being taken advantage of the most. And you heard from General Barr and you heard from others how seniors in Florida, and we have tens and thousands coming into Florida every day, are sitting ducks for scammers that want to take their money. Now, with voice cloning technology, and you may have saw my consumer alert on this, with just a small snippet of someone's voice, you can use a computer and mimic someone's voice to make calls. How scary is that? Can you imagine if a call sounded like your grandchild or your child asking for money? And I examined our office to determine what we had in place to go after cyber criminals, because after decades of evolution of technology, law enforcement has been woefully behind in catching up and staying ahead of criminals using technology. And so we have in our office one of the only teams nationwide that is going after tech fraud. I am so proud of that, one of the only agencies. We've also started a consumer alert program where you can go online to myfloridalegal.com and we'll spell out the latest consumer threats to you, especially as they involve technology. But what we determined is the Fortune 500 companies, the large corporations, they have internal consultants, external consultants. They are consistently monitoring threats. But what do the small businesses have? You think they can afford a technology consultant? What does the standard Florida consumer have? If I told you about some of the scams that I've learned about since becoming the Attorney General and how many times I've asked myself if I've fallen prey to that scam, you'd be amazed. Chances are, if you're sitting in this room today, you've been the target of a tech scam. And so I'm pushing the legislature this session, saying we are behind. Floridians and our small businesses, medium-sized businesses, need protection from cyber criminals. You have got to give me the resources to develop a trained team, and not only train them up, get them working, but retain them. Because the biggest threat to good employees that are trained in this area are the large businesses poaching them as soon as we can train them up. And so if you have a relationship with your lawmakers, help me help you. Tell them we need a cyber fraud team in Florida. It will be prosecutors and investigators working alongside FDLE to work with our local law enforcement partners to go after these guys that sit behind computers, the cowards that want to steal your money and never show their face. I am proud to be your Attorney General. I am amazed at the partnerships and the productivity we see from our state agencies and our federal partners. These two up here have been amazing friends. Maria Chapa-Lopez, who is the United States Attorney here in the Middle District of Florida, and I prosecuted cases together when I was a federal prosecutor. It seems like just yesterday, but we're still fighting the good fight. We will continue to partner. We will continue to do everything we can to assess where we're weak, where we can do better, beg for resources to bring to bear active, engaged, advanced uses of technology. And I will continue to listen as I was taught as a child. And I will continue to be heard when it comes to protecting Florida's seniors. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you, General Moody. I also have the honor and privilege of introducing Joseph, we call him Jody, Hunt. Mr. Hunt is the Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Division of the United States Department of Justice. He previously served as the Chief of Staff to Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He is a past recipient of the Attorney General's Distinguished Service Award, and he is a graduate of the Columbia Law School. Please join me in welcoming Assistant Attorney General Jody Hunt.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, and good morning. I assure you I will be brief. My father is a retired preacher, and his motto is always, "The mind can't comprehend more than the end can endure." And so he said a sermon has to be short. If you can't get it said, people won't remember it anyway. So I will be brief. Elder justice matters to every American. Seniors are the bedrock of our families and of our communities. When seniors are harassed and defrauded, often at the cost of their life savings, as you heard discussed earlier today, everyone loses. And when seniors suffer harm in grossly substandard nursing homes, it is not only unacceptable, it is illegal. Our seniors deserve better, and they deserve to be treated with care and respect. The Civil Division of the Department of Justice, with its nearly 1,200 attorneys, investigators, and support staff, is a leader in the fight to stop elder fraud and abuse. To advance these efforts, the Civil Division's Consumer Protection Branch works to identify, disrupt, and to prosecute the biggest fraud schemes affecting seniors. Leading our transnational elder fraud strike force, the Consumer Protection Branch identifies fraud schemes and doing so using sophisticated data and strong partnerships. These include partnerships with key individuals in the telecommunications, banking, retail, and technology industries. They also include partnerships with federal, state, local, tribal, and foreign law enforcement. After identifying the fraud schemes, our Consumer Protection Branch, in coordination with our U.S. Attorney's offices, moves immediately to disrupt the schemes. We do not wait while the victims lose money. This past fall, for example, our prosecutors worked with the FBI and the Postal Inspection Service to disrupt the money mule networks that the Attorney General spoke about. The initiative disrupted more than 600 money mules in a period of less than 2 months, stopping paydays for the criminals and protecting our seniors. Just last month, as the Attorney General also mentioned, we shut down the gateway carriers for robocalls that were coming in from abroad, mostly India. Our fraud schemes are stopped. The Consumer Protection Branch then works with those who prosecute those responsible for it. No matter where the criminals are, we track them down, and the strike force prosecuted more than 1/4 of the defendants charged in last year's fraud sweep. I'm proud also of the extraordinary efforts of our Civil Division's fraud section, which helps spearhead our nursing home initiative that the Attorney General mentioned, and that we will be spearheading with respect to the new nursing home initiative. Through years of running the department's Elder Justice Initiative and bringing cases against grossly substandard nursing homes, the Civil Division's fraud section has worked tirelessly to protect those who are not always able to protect themselves. Last year, for instance, the fraud section in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Tennessee reached a multi-million-dollar resolution with a nursing home provider and related entities alleged to have provided worthless nursing service to its residents. Importantly, given the horrific evidence we developed in that case, we also held accountable the company's majority owner and the chief executive officer, as well as the company's former director of operations, both of whom played a role in the alleged fraud. The dedication and expertise of our fraud section attorneys have made possible today's announced nursing home initiative, which will advance our investigations against the nursing home operators that put their own economic gain ahead of the needs of their residents. In addition to this nursing home efforts, our Elder Justice Initiative plays a significant role supporting the efforts of state and local elder justice professionals who work very hard every day combating elder abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. This includes identifying best practices and developing training and resources to support the efforts of elder justice professionals, including prosecutors, law enforcement, judges, and victim service providers. It also includes sharing with the public the resources it has developed on the Elder Justice website, which is elderjustice.gov, elderjustice.gov. Thank you all for sharing in today's important event and for supporting all of the efforts that we take collectively to help end elder abuse and fraud. Now, it's my pleasure to turn the microphone over to Lance Robertson, who is our administrator of the Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Community Living.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I will not tell my mom that speakers could have brought their moms. I would be in trouble. That's awesome, though. I'm glad Ashleigh's mom is here. And how special of a morning is it that all of us got to spend a little bit of time with Attorney General Barr, Kellyanne Conway, phenomenal leaders within this administration. You also got to meet Joe Grogan. And again, I just want to make sure you're aware that within the White House, the Domestic Policy Council, Joe serves as director, and so many issues that touch Americans go through DPC. So again, it was great to have Joe Grogan here as well. It's wonderful to have all of you, and I know a lot of you gathered in this room and some watching online. All of us, I think, are committed to doing all that we can to address the appalling reality of injustice faced by millions of American elders every year. It's not an insurmountable problem. However, it is one that requires all of us to face things honestly and with fierce determination. Our federal colleagues in the Department of Justice work tirelessly to fulfill the initiatives that General Barr described, and 3 new ones now, so roll up your sleeves, including efforts to prosecute scammers who target older Americans, causing untold loss and harm. I applaud the work of Florida Attorney General Ashleigh Moody's office and all the law enforcement folks that are involved in this critical conversation. Thank you so much. And also, I'm very glad to be joined today by Richard Prudhomme, who is the Secretary of Florida's Department of Elder Affairs. So you need to get to know this guy. You guys have fabulous, will you wait, Richard? Yeah, you guys. You know, as a guy that works across many states in this country on this issue and others related to older adults, you have in Florida some outstanding leadership with your state Secretary for Elder Affairs, your Attorney General, and so many others. You guys are in great shape, and I'm going to move down here when it's time for me to retire. I'll be a rarity in that regard, right? 400 seniors a year moving to Florida, or a day, I'm sorry. I bring greetings on behalf of my boss, the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary, Mr. Alex Azar, who asked me to come here and reinforce to all of you the commitment that he and I share, and that is to really eradicate elder justice where we can. As the Assistant Secretary and Administrator for the Administration for Community Living, and I'm here to say that we can and must reduce elder victimization. We live in a country where it should just not be tolerated. Substandard nursing home care should be something we all plan to eradicate and make our personal mission, as well as those that are being targeted for scams. And we must work together at the federal, state, and local levels to provide assurance to our citizens that they will receive the quality of care they deserve. Let me review just a few quick things that the Department of Health and Human Services is currently doing to prevent and respond to elder abuse. I think it was the Attorney General that talked about, or Joe Grogan that talked about CMS and the work that they do in establishing standards for nursing home care. And you may or may not realize that they work very closely with states to review those conditions and to defund bad actors who fail to comply with those standards. And that's a daily effort that I'm proud that they're doing. Also within the Department of Health and Human Services, our Office of the Inspector General ensures that we get what we pay for. And of course, we pay for quality care. So they make sure that nursing homes are delivering on that promise and are not defrauding the federal government and us as taxpayers. And then at ACL, we also are proud to do a lot in the area of elder justice. For instance, we run the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, which is funded through the Older Americans Act. We have staff and volunteers who are trained and who regularly visit nursing homes and represent the interests of residents by resolving issues. The program serves as a visible and effective advocate for people living in long-term care facilities. The program successfully resolves a wide variety of resident problems, over 138,000 last year alone, including discharge and eviction, inadequate care, and violation of rights. That program is active in every state, including Florida. I'm just so proud of the folks that work in that particular program. We also, at the Administration for Community Living, fund the National Center on Elder Abuse, and our funding to support legal assistance for elders is significant. Another thing that we do that you need to know about is we are helping bring together every appropriate federal agency under the umbrella of the Elder Justice Coordinating Council, of which I am chair on behalf of Secretary Azar. This effort is helping focus the activities and coordination of 14 federal agencies and departments on specific issues around elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation. In addition to Health and Human Services and the Department of Justice, again, those 14 agencies include Social Security Administration, Housing and Urban Development, Veterans Administration, Security Exchange Commission, so many others. So again, it's heartening to know that you have 14 federal agencies that are having a common conversation around this critical issue. Preventing nursing home abuse is a critical focus, and with 10,000 people turning 65 every day in America, we must be incredibly diligent in fighting abuse, neglect, and exploitation wherever it occurs, in long-term care facilities and out in the communities. This particular goal is a central part of our core mission within our agency. And at ACL, we believe strongly in the concept of community, and that in a well-functioning community, such as this one, we are all supporting each other, and we're protecting each other. We need to make it personal. We need to learn the signs of abuse, neglect, and exploitation, and we need to report what we see. We need to train others, and we need to insulate our own households. And we need to assure quality care is delivered in today's nursing home setting. So again, thanks to all of you for being a part of this great event. I also hope that you will, after the event, shake the hand of a wonderful friend and colleague, the person that helped put all this together. And there she is in the red dress. Associate Deputy Attorney General, Tony Bacon. I wanted to get your title right. So again, thanks so much to all of you and appreciate the great work that you do.
Now? Okay. All right. I think at this time we're going to take a break for how long? Okay, we're going to take a break for 20 minutes, and then we will come back. Again, thank you to Florida Attorney General Ashleigh Moody, good friend and partner in this fight, and Assistant Attorney General Jody Hunt and Administrator Lance Robertson for addressing us today. We'll continue the program in about 20 minutes.